The morning sky blazed with an otherworldly light as massive ships pierced through Earth's atmosphere. Their hulls gleamed like polished mirrors, reflecting the sunlight in ways that made them appear almost magical. Around the world, billions of humans stood transfixed, watching their screens or looking up at the sky, knowing that this moment would forever change human history. In the heart of the United Earth Command Center, Captain Han Ta-1 gripped the edge of his control panel, his knuckles white with tension. The massive wall screens showed multiple views of the approaching vessels, each one larger than the biggest aircraft carrier ever built by human hands. "All systems are tracking normally, Captain," reported his chief technician. "The aliens are following our suggested landing coordinates exactly." Tai-1 nodded, but his eyes never left the main screen. 20 years of military service hadn't prepared him for this moment. No one on Earth could have been truly ready for humanity's first contact with an advanced alien civilization. The command center buzzed with activity as personnel monitored every aspect of the landing. Ambassador Kyo Jun-ho stood quietly beside Ta-1, his diplomatic experience evident in his calm demeanor. But those who knew him well could see the slight tightening around his eyes, the only sign of his inner tension. "Their technology is remarkable," Jun-ho murmured, watching as the alien ships maneuvered with impossible precision. "Look how they control gravity itself." The ships settled onto the massive landing pad that had been prepared for this moment. No flames, no thrust, no visible means of propulsion. They simply descended as if the laws of physics were mere suggestions rather than rules. The air grew thick with anticipation as the first alien delegation prepared to emerge. Earth's welcoming committee, carefully selected from all major nations, stood ready. Security teams maintained their positions, though everyone knew their weapons would be useless if the aliens harbored ill intentions. The ship's entrance opened with a soft hiss, revealing a corridor of light. High Counselor Nex emerged first, their tall, elegant form moving with fluid grace. The alien leader stood nearly 8 feet tall, with iridescent skin that seemed to shift colors with each movement. Behind them came a delegation of various alien species, each more extraordinary than the last. Jun-ho stepped forward to deliver Earth's official welcome, his voice steady and clear. "On behalf of humanity and Earth, we welcome you to our world." Nex's translator converted their response into perfect English, though something in their tone made Tai-1's military instincts prickle with unease. "We are pleased to make official contact with your species. The Galactic Confederation has been observing Earth for some time." The alien delegation was led on a tour of Earth's most advanced facilities, culminating in the Quantum Computing Center. Pride swelled in Tai-1's chest as they showcased humanity's latest achievements. The quantum computers that had revolutionized Earth's technology, the fusion reactors that were beginning to power their cities, the medical advances that had extended human lifespans. But as the tour progressed, subtle signs began to emerge. The slight tilt of alien heads as they examined human technology, the quiet murmurs in their own languages, the barely concealed expressions that needed no translation. Pity, amusement, condescension. It came to a head in the quantum computing facility. Nex ran their elongated fingers over the housing of Earth's most powerful computer. "Quite impressive that you've managed interplanetary communication with such basic tools," they remarked, their translator failing to fully mask the patronizing tone. Tai-1 felt his jaw clench. Beside him, Jun-ho's diplomatic mask slipped for just a moment, revealing a flash of anger. The alien leader continued examining the facility, making comments that, while technically complimentary, carried an unmistakable tone of superiority. "Your species shows remarkable potential," Nex announced to the assembled human leaders. "With proper guidance from the Confederation, you may advance quite rapidly. Of course, certain restrictions will be necessary. For your own protection, you understand." As the day drew to a close, Ta-1 watched the alien delegation return to their ships for the night. His communication device buzzed with a message from a very secret, very secure channel. The text was simple: "New Atlantis monitoring situation. Maintain current protocol. He allowed himself a small smile. Let the aliens think what they wanted about humanity's visible technology. They had no idea what waited hidden near Jupiter, no concept of what humans could achieve when they worked in secret, away from judging eyes. The real test of humanity's capabilities and the aliens' assumptions would come soon enough. For now, Earth would play its role as the primitive but promising species, while in the shadows, New Atlantis continued its work, invisible and waiting for the right moment to show the galaxy what humanity could really do. Outside, the alien ships glowed softly in the gathering dusk, their presence a constant reminder that everything had changed, but not perhaps in the way the Galactic Confederation expected. The dimensional pocket shimmered like a soap bubble that wasn't quite there, invisible to all but the most advanced sensors humanity had created. Inside this carefully hidden realm near Jupiter's orbit, Dr. Kim Sumai stood at her control station, her fingers dancing across holographic displays as she fine-tuned the gravitational field generators that kept New Atlantis stable. The space city stretched out before her viewing window, a marvel of human engineering that would have seemed impossible just 50 years ago. Massive towers reached toward the artificial sky, their surfaces gleaming with photovoltaic panels that captured energy from their artificial sun. Parks and green spaces dotted the cityscape, bringing Earth's nature into this manufactured world. Commander Park Do-hyun approached her station, his footsteps nearly silent on the polished floor. "How are the field readings?" he asked, his eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the alien ships currently orbiting Earth. "Stable," Sumai replied, adjusting a parameter slightly. "The dimensional pocket is maintaining full integrity. The Confederation's sensors can't detect even a hint of our existence." The command center buzzed with quiet activity as technicians monitored every aspect of the city's systems. New Atlantis was humanity's greatest secret, a self-sustaining space city housing 10 million people, built over decades through international cooperation and hidden from the world's own space programs. Do-hyun watched as a group of children played in one of the city's parks, visible through another monitor. "Sometimes I still can't believe we actually built all this," he said softly. "When I first joined the project 15 years ago, it seemed like an impossible dream." Sume nodded, remembering her own first days on the project. "The hardest part wasn't the technology," she said, pulling up another display showing the city's quantum core. "It was keeping it secret. Do you know we have 3 Nobel Prize winners living here? Scientists who disappeared from Earth to help build this place." Through another window, they could see the massive agricultural domes where the city grew its food. Artificial pollinators, tiny drones disguised as bees, moved from plant to plant. The system was so efficient it produced enough food to feed twice the city's population. "They have no idea what we're capable of," Sumai whispered, watching the alien ships on the monitor. "They think we're still struggling with basic quantum computing, while we're here manipulating dimensional space." An alert flashed on one of her screens, a standard systems check. Sumai quickly reviewed the data. The artificial gravity was functioning perfectly, keeping the city's inhabitants comfortable. The quantum shields that helped maintain the dimensional pocket were operating at peak efficiency. Even the weather control systems were working exactly as designed, creating a perfect spring day in the city's main dome. "Latest report from Earth," Do-hyun said, reading from his personal device. "The Confederation continues to treat our visible technology like children's toys. Their ambassador actually patted the head of our quantum computer yesterday." Sume felt a flash of pride mixed with amusement. That primitive quantum computer was actually a simplified version of the ones they used in New Atlantis, deliberately designed to look less advanced than it really was. "Did you see the latest broadcast from their ships?" she asked, pulling up another display. "They're discussing whether we're mature enough to handle their basic space travel technology. If they only knew we cracked faster than light travel 5 years ago." The city's transport system hummed quietly in the background as magnetic levitation trains carried people between districts. In one of the research sectors, scientists were working on technology that even the Confederation hadn't mastered. True matter manipulation at the quantum level. "Security report," a voice called out. "All systems normal. Stealth fields are maintaining full coverage. No unusual radiation signatures detected." Do-hyun nodded with satisfaction. "Keep monitoring those alien ships. I want to know the moment they do anything unusual. We may be hidden, but we're not taking any chances." Sumai returned to her work, making minute adjustments to the gravitational fields. Each change had to be perfect. The lives of 10 million people depended on these systems working flawlessly. Through another monitor, she watched those people going about their daily lives. Scientists in their labs, teachers in their classrooms, artists in their studios, all of them contributing to this incredible achievement. "Sometimes I wonder what those aliens would think if they could see this," Do-hyun mused, watching the city's night cycle begin in one sector, the artificial sky darkening right on schedule. Their faces when they realize we achieved all this while they were watching our primitive world. Sumai smiled, remembering the long years of work that had led to this moment. "They'll find out soon enough," she said, her fingers still moving across the holographic controls. "And when they do, they'll learn an important lesson about underestimating humanity." Above them, the artificial sky shifted colors subtly, matching the natural rhythm of Earth's day-night cycle. In this hidden pocket of space, humanity's greatest achievement continued its quiet existence, waiting for the right moment to show the galaxy what humans could really do when they worked together. The grand conference room of the Galactic Confederation's Earth Embassy fell silent as Lee Jin-woo's fist hit the polished table. The sound echoed off the high ceiling, interrupting the smug speeches of the alien representatives. Earth's senior diplomat rarely lost his composure, but today's proposal had pushed him past his limits. "This is unacceptable." Jin-woo's voice carried the frustration of months of diplomatic meetings and thinly veiled insults. Around him, other human representatives shifted in their seats, their own anger barely contained. Counselor Nex's aide, a tall, silver-skinned being named Vex, didn't bother hiding his amusement. His lip curled in what humans had come to recognize as the alien equivalent of a smirk. "Perhaps when your species advances beyond chemical rockets, we can revisit this discussion." The proposed restrictions lay on the table between them, displayed on crystalline tablets that the Confederation had generously provided to the human delegation. The document detailed dozens of new limitations on human space travel: no vessels beyond Mars orbit, no new space stations without Confederation approval, and mandatory alien oversight of all launch facilities. Jin-woo took a deep breath, straightening his jacket. "The people of Earth have proven ourselves capable of responsible space exploration. We've maintained peaceful operations in our solar system for decades." "Peaceful, yes," another alien representative chimed in, their translucent wings shimmering with barely concealed contempt. "But primitive. Your ships still rely on explosion-based propulsion. You haven't even mastered basic gravity manipulation." If they only knew, Jin-woo thought, remembering the briefings he'd received about New Atlantis. The hidden city's gravity generators were more advanced than anything the Confederation had shown them. Meanwhile, in that very hidden city, Director Choi Yun, he sat in her office near the top of the tallest tower, reviewing the latest reports from Earth. The holographic displays showed multiple angles of the diplomatic disaster unfolding in the conference room. "Play the last exchange again," she ordered, and the AI system complied. She watched Jin-woo's confrontation once more, noting the subtle shifts in alien body language that their behavior analysts had identified as signs of deception. A soft chime announced the arrival of her security chief. "Director, the latest analysis suggests the Confederation is pushing these restrictions for a reason. They've been increasing their scans of our solar system, particularly in the outer regions." Yunhee nodded slowly. "They suspect something. They can't detect us, but they know something doesn't add up." She stood and walked to the window, looking out over the sprawling cityscape of New Atlantis. Have they scanned near Jupiter recently? 3 times in the past week. Our dimensional shields held perfectly. They saw exactly what we wanted them to see. Nothing but empty space and normal background radiation. The situation was reaching a critical point. Every day, the Confederation grew more restrictive, more controlling. Their patronizing attitude had evolved into outright interference with Earth's development. Meanwhile, the hidden citizens of New Atlantis watched and waited, their advanced technology deliberately kept secret. Back in the conference room, Jinmu fought to maintain his diplomatic composure. The people of Earth cannot accept these restrictions. We have rights as a sovereign species. Rights? Vex laughed, a sound like tinkling crystals. You barely understand the principles of interstellar travel. We're protecting you from yourselves. Look at their formation, Hajun pointed out. They're positioning themselves to control all major orbital lanes. Any rocket launch would have to go right past their weapons. Min Su pressed his palms against the cool surface of his command console. 20 years of military service had taught him to recognize a checkmate when he saw one. But the Confederation didn't know they were playing against a board with hidden pieces. Begin emergency protocols, he ordered. I want all Earth defense forces at silent readiness. No obvious movements, nothing to provoke them, but I want everyone prepared. The command center buzzed with controlled activity as orders were relayed through secure channels. Around the world, military forces quietly moved to alert status while maintaining an appearance of normal operations. Sir, Hajun reported, the Confederation is broadcasting a public message to Earth's population. They're calling it a protective partnership and promising to guide our development. Min Su watched the alien ambassador's message play across one screen, noting the carefully crafted words that disguised the truth of their actions. They weren't even trying to hide their superiority complex anymore. Director, he addressed Yunhee, who was still waiting on the quantum channel. Begin final preparations. I'll inform Earth's unified command structure. We need every government ready to respond when New Atlantis reveals itself. Understood, she replied. I'll have our defensive systems ready. They won't be able to prevent our emergence from the dimensional pocket, no matter what weapons they have. As the channel closed, Min Su turned to his second-in-command. Hajun, send encrypted updates to all major military commands. Code phrase, Rising Sun. Hajun's eyes widened slightly. That code phrase had been established years ago, meant for only one scenario, the revelation of New Atlantis to the world. Above them, the alien observation post completed its deployment, a gleaming ring of advanced technology declaring the Confederation's power over Earth. They thought they had humanity cornered, forced into submission by their superior technology and military might. Sir, Hajun said quietly, do you think they'll attack when they realize we've been deceiving them all this time? Min Su allowed himself a small smile. They might try. But they're about to learn that humanity has a few surprises left. Send the signal to New Atlantis. Operation Revelation begins now. Near Jupiter's orbit, the fabric of space itself began to ripple like water disturbed by a stone. The dimensional pocket that had hidden humanity's greatest achievement for decades started to dissolve, its carefully maintained barriers falling away layer by layer. Chief Engineer Ba Ji-min stood at her control station in New Atlantis's command center, her fingers moving across holographic controls with practiced precision. Dimensional collapse at 30%, she announced, her voice steady despite the historic moment unfolding around her. The massive city station began to phase into normal space, first appearing as a ghostly outline against the stars, then becoming more solid with each passing second. Its true size became apparent as it fully materialized, a structure so vast it made the Confederation's observation post look like a toy in comparison. Quantum shields at full power, Ji-min called out, activating the city's defensive systems. The shields sprang to life, their advanced energy fields creating patterns of light that rippled across the city's surface like aurora borealis. On the Confederation observation post orbiting Earth, alarms blared as their sensors detected the impossible object appearing near Jupiter. High Counselor next rushed to the command center, their mandibles clicking rapidly in agitation. "What is that?" they demanded, staring at the readings that showed technology far beyond what they believed humans capable of creating. New Atlantis continued its emergence, its massive form now fully visible. The city stretched for kilometers, its gleaming towers and vast habitation domes catching the distant sunlight. Fusion reactors powered up, their energy signatures dwarfing anything the Confederation had seen from Earth before. Nexus face appeared on the communication screens throughout New Atlantis, mandibles twitching in shock. "Impossible." The word came through in multiple languages, the universal translator struggling with the emotion in their voice. Jai-Min allowed herself a small smile as she initiated the city's full activation sequence. The quantum shields demonstrated their true capability, creating defensive fields that made the Confederation's best technology look primitive in comparison. "This is Director Choi Yun-hee of New Atlantis," a clear voice announced across all frequencies. "To the Galactic Confederation, yes, we are quite real. And yes, we have been here all along." Through the vast windows of the command center, Jae-min could see the city coming fully to life. Transportation pods zipped between towers on magnetic fields, while in the agricultural domes, vast fields of crops stretched under artificial sunlight. 10 million humans going about their daily lives in humanity's greatest achievement. All systems functioning at optimal levels. Jae-min reported, watching as the city's quantum core stabilized in normal space. "We're ready to begin approach maneuvers." The massive city station began to move, its propulsion systems defying known physics as it smoothly accelerated toward Earth. The Confederation ships scrambled to respond, their formations breaking as they tried to adapt to this impossible situation. "Their weapons are powering up," someone reported. Jae-min nodded calmly. They had expected this. The quantum shields could handle anything the Confederation might throw at them. Detecting multiple scan attempts, another technician called out. "They're trying to analyze our technology." "Let them look," Director Yun-hee commanded. It's time they understood exactly what humanity is capable of. More alien faces appeared on the communication screens as other Confederation species joined the channel. Their expressions ranged from shock to disbelief to outrage as they watched New Atlantis approach. "Your species claimed to barely understand quantum mechanics," one alien representative sputtered. "You showed us primitive computers and chemical rockets." "We showed you what we chose to show you," Yun-hee replied calmly. "Perhaps next time you'll think twice before judging a species by its visible technology alone." Jae-min continued monitoring the city's systems as they moved closer to Earth. The quantum shields were performing perfectly, their energy patterns clearly visible to demonstrate just how far beyond the Confederation's technology they really were. "Sir," she reported to Director Yun-hee, "we're receiving transmissions from Earth. They're starting to see us. The public channels are going crazy." Below them, on Earth's surface, millions of people were looking up at the sky, watching as their hidden achievement came into view. Decades of secrecy were ending in a moment of triumph that would rewrite humanity's place in the galaxy. New Atlantis took up position near Earth's orbit, its massive form casting shadows on the Confederation's observation post. The message was clear. Humanity was no longer playing the role of the primitive species needing guidance. Quantum core stable, shields at full power, all systems nominal, Jae-min announced, completing her final checks. New Atlantis is ready for full diplomatic engagement. The revelation was complete. Humanity's greatest secret was now its greatest triumph, and the galaxy would never be the same. Through her station's window, Jae-min watched the Confederation ships hovering uncertainly around their suddenly outdated observation post and allowed herself a moment of pure satisfaction. The age of pretending to be less than they were had ended. The age of humanity's true place in the galaxy was about to begin. The Grand Council chamber aboard New Atlantis hummed with tension as Dr. Kim Soo-mai, stood before the assembled representatives of the Galactic Confederation. The vast room, with its sweeping views of Earth below and Jupiter in the distance, had been designed for exactly this moment. As you can see, Sumi gestured to the holographic displays surrounding them. Humanity chose to develop in secret, away from prejudiced eyes. Her voice carried clearly through the chamber, the translation systems ensuring every alien species present understood her words perfectly. The alien representatives shifted uncomfortably in their specially designed seats. High Counselor Nex, who had once looked at Earth's technology with such disdain, now couldn't seem to stop staring at the quantum engineering displays floating around the room. Commander Kane Tahoe stepped forward, activating another holographic demonstration. "This is our primary gravity control system," he explained, showing the complex network that kept New Atlantis stable. "As you can observe, we don't just manipulate gravity, we rewrite its fundamental properties." A gasp rippled through the alien delegation as Tai-Ho created a localized gravity well in the center of the room, then shaped it into complex patterns. It was technology the Confederation had theorized about but never achieved. "Impossible," muttered one of the alien scientists, their crystalline form vibrating with agitation. "Your species was supposedly struggling with basic fusion power mere months ago." Sume smiled, remembering all the years of careful deception. "We showed you exactly what we wanted you to see. While you were patting our heads over simple quantum computers, we were building this." She gestured to the city around them. The tour continued through New Atlantis's most advanced sections. In the quantum engineering labs, alien representatives watched in stunned silence as human scientists demonstrated technology that violated what the Confederation had thought were universal laws of physics. "Your entire understanding of quantum mechanics is limited," Sumai explained, trying to be diplomatic. "We discovered new principles decades ago, but chose to keep them hidden until we were ready." In the medical facilities, the aliens observed human doctors using molecular reconstruction to heal injuries instantly. The agricultural domes showed them plants engineered to grow in any environment. Each revelation seemed to shake the Confederation's confidence further. "But why?" asked a floating gas-based being through their translator. "Why hide all this progress?" Tai-Ho stepped forward again. "Because of how you treated us from the very beginning. Your prejudice against primitive species showed us exactly what would happen if we revealed our true capabilities too soon." The evidence was undeniable. In the power generation chamber, the aliens watched human engineers manipulate energy in ways their own scientists had deemed impossible. The quantum core of New Atlantis pulsed with power that made their own fusion reactors look like children's toys. "Your observation post," Sumai noted with careful politeness, "uses technology we abandoned as inefficient 20 years ago. Would you like us to help you upgrade it?" The offer, though genuine, carried a subtle sting. The power dynamic had shifted completely. Now it was the Confederation representatives who looked overwhelmed by technology they couldn't quite understand. In the Gravity Control Center, Tai-Ho demonstrated how New Atlantis could move through space without conventional propulsion. "We don't push against anything," he explained. "We simply redefine our relationship with space-time itself." Several alien scientists were frantically taking notes, their earlier condescension replaced by desperate curiosity. The technology gap they were witnessing wasn't just a few years. In some areas, humanity had leaped centuries ahead of the Confederation's capabilities. "We are prepared to share some of our advances," Sumai announced, bringing the tour to its conclusion. "But first, we need to discuss the Confederation's policy toward Earth and other developing worlds." The message was clear. The days of the Confederation's unquestioned technological superiority were over. Humanity had emerged not as a junior partner to be guided, but as an advanced civilization with capabilities that demanded respect. "The restriction protocols for Earth's space travel," Nex began hesitantly, "are hereby considered void," Sumai finished firmly. "Furthermore, we propose a complete review of how the Confederation evaluates developing civilizations. Our experience suggests your current methods may be flawed. As the emergency session drew to a close, Sumai and Teiho watched the alien representatives file out, many still casting amazed glances at the technology around them. The power shift was complete. Humanity had moved from being a primitive curiosity to a force that could reshape the galaxy's political landscape. Do you think they've learned their lesson? Taiho asked quietly. Sumai watched as the last of the aliens departed, their earlier arrogance replaced by a new respect tinged with fear. They're learning, she replied. And if they forget, we have plenty more surprises to show them. Above them, the artificial sky of New Atlantis shifted through its evening cycle, a demonstration of environmental control so subtle and perfect that it made the Confederation's terraform technology look crude in comparison. The age of humanity hiding its light had ended. The age of humanity showing the galaxy what it could really do was just beginning. Sunlight glimmered off the hulls of dozens of alien vessels as they approached New Atlantis' docking stations. 1 year had transformed the once hidden city into the galaxy's premier center for technological and cultural exchange. Ambassador Yoon Hae-jin watched from the grand observation deck as ships from every corner of the Confederation arrived for the historic inauguration. The new Joint Human Confederation Research Institute occupied an entire sector of New Atlantis, its facilities stretching across multiple levels of the city station. Through the vast windows, Hae-jin could see teams of human and alien scientists already working together, sharing knowledge that would benefit all species. Quite a change from last year, said a familiar voice. Captain Han Ta-won approached, his uniform now bearing the insignia of both Earth and the Confederation. Remember when they thought we couldn't handle basic spaceflight? Hae-jin smiled, recalling those tense early days. Now they're lining up to learn our quantum engineering principles. The latest count shows we have scientists from 37 different species working here. The observation deck filled with delegates as the inauguration ceremony approached. Alien representatives who had once looked down on humanity now mingled respectfully with Earth's leaders. The change wasn't just political, it was fundamental. Let's begin, Hae-jin announced, stepping up to the podium. The universal translators hummed to life, ready to convey her words to every species present. 1 year ago, humanity revealed its true capabilities to the galaxy. Today, we take another step forward together. She gestured to the research facilities visible through the windows. This institute represents more than just scientific cooperation. It represents a new way of thinking about how species can interact and grow together. High Counselor Nex, who had once dismissed human technology as primitive, now nodded in agreement from their place among the delegates. The Confederation itself had changed, becoming more open to different paths of development. Let this be a lesson, Hae-jin continued, her voice carrying across the chamber. Never judge a species by what they choose to show you. The universe is full of surprises, and wisdom often comes from unexpected sources. The ceremony proceeded with presentations from various research teams. Human quantum physicists worked alongside crystalline beings from distant stars, combining their knowledge in ways that pushed the boundaries of science. Medical researchers from Earth shared their molecular reconstruction techniques while learning about alien biology. Later, in his private quarters, Ta-won watched the steady stream of ships docking at the station. Each arrival represented a connection that would have seemed impossible just a year ago. Humanity had earned its place among the stars, not through force, but through ingenuity and patience. Status report, he asked his AI assistant, more out of habit than necessity. All systems optimal, Captain. Current population of New Atlantis, 12 million, including 2 million non-human residents. Research projects in progress, 3,642. Diplomatic relations, stable and improving with all major Confederation species. The numbers told their own story. What had begun as humanity's hidden refuge had become a beacon of progress for the entire galaxy. The observation post that had once been meant to monitor Earth now served as a welcome center for new arrivals to New Atlantis. A soft chime announced a visitor. Dr. Kim Sumai, now head of the Quantum Engineering Division. "Captain, you'll want to see this," she said, activating a holographic display. "Our joint team just made a breakthrough in dimensional physics. We're seeing possibilities that neither humans nor the Confederation had imagined alone." Taiwan studied the complex equations floating in the air. This was the real triumph. Not just proving humanity's capabilities, but creating something greater through cooperation. Outside his window, Earth hummed like a blue jewel against the black of space. Supply ships moved steadily between the planet and New Atlantis, carrying the fruits of this new era of cooperation. The secret city had become a bridge between worlds. "You know," Sumai said thoughtfully, "some of the younger aliens don't even remember when they thought we were primitive. To them, this is just how things are. All species working together, learning from each other." Taiwan nodded, watching as another alien ship docked smoothly at the station. "That's the real victory," he said. "Not just changing how they see us, but changing how everyone sees themselves." The artificial sun of New Atlantis began its evening cycle, casting warm light across the city's towers and domes. In laboratories and meeting rooms, in homes and public spaces, humans and aliens worked, lived, and learned together. The age of secrecy was over. The age of true cooperation had begun. And somewhere in the vast library of the Confederation, a new entry had been added to their historical archives. Never underestimate a species that chooses to hide its light. For when that light finally shines, it may illuminate paths you never knew existed.